Alright, well, this is going to be a sort of a personal one. I'm gonna yet again, I'm gonna delve deep into another aspect of piping in my life. And just maybe at the start, it's gonna sound a bit, I don't know, sad or kind of hopeless or miserable or something like that, but um, it'll change. I don't want you to take that out of it. I don't really know what I'm gonna entitle this video yet, but basically, it's gonna be something along the lines of like, don't don't make the same mistake as I did um, with piping and with practicing and whatever. So, like, hopefully, you'll get some sort of a positive message out of this, and you'll learn a lesson that I've learned like the hard way. Basically, I want to spare you this mistake that I've like really realised has happened to me, and I've let it happen, and it's my own fault. And I don't want to see that happening to anyone else. So maybe, I don't know, it doesn't really matter what age you are, but especially if you're younger than me, you might be able to relate to this. Yeah, doesn't matter. Even if you're older, I'm sure you can relate to it anyway. But so just don't do this what I did. And but the hope is, like, you know what, like, I've changed, and it's never too late to change. So here goes. Um, I don't know, call this a midlife crisis, whatever. Like, not kind of in the classic sense of. I always thought that once I hit me midlife crisis, like most people get, want a big red sports car or some, you know, run away with a woman half your age or something. Um, I always thought that when I hit my midlife crisis, like all I ever wanted was a horse. Yeah, I just thought I'd ride into the village with a horse and tie him up outside the pub. And I always thought, like, go in and have a pint, and if once you see me doing that, then you know I've hit it. Like, but it kind of didn't really work out like that. So far, uh, it's more so mine one now is to do with music. Basically, I don't know what happens, but when you hit 40, it's kind of like you kind of think, you do kind of actually start to think back on the rest on your life. Like, even though I'm comparatively young to other people, 40 isn't exactly old. I'd, I don't even know what I'd call it, middle aged or not. Like, I've always wanted to be old anyway, so maybe I'm halfway there. But something kind of really dawned on me, and this is the whole point of this. When I was 40, now I'm about 42 now. Um, but when I was 40, it really actually dawned on me that I've been piping for like over 20 years, right? 25 years to be precise. So, for anyone that never heard any of my other videos, just quickly again, I picked up the pipes when I was about 15. They were uilleann pipes, and by the age of 20, I'd kind of given up on uilleann pipes, and I took up the Scottish Highland bagpipes in their place, and I've been at that basically ever since. And it's always been my kind of wish and vision to work my way back onto uilleann pipes, which I'm actually doing now. I'm taking big steps towards that, and I know that I'm getting there. So, because I always regretted that I put down the pipes, uilleann pipes, I mean. But here's the big thing that I just want you to take out of this, right? I actually, something like dawned on me, like realised when I was 40, I look back over the previous 20 years, back to when I was 20, and I just thought to myself, like, right, you know what, like, you call yourself a piper, you call yourself like an Irish piper, you're playing those pipes for the last 20 years now. Like, are you happy with what you've achieved? Like, am I contented with what I've done or how far I've progressed in the last 20 years? And I'm sorry to say, like, the sad answer to that is no. I'm actually quite disappointed with my progress. I'm very disappointed with where I am 20 years later. Like, I don't know, in my estimation, I should be 10 times better. I should be, I don't know, like an advanced piper, maybe a professional piper, like somebody who's so sure of himself and somebody who's so confident and not arrogant or cocky. I don't mean it that way, but someone who's far more proficient, we'll say, than I am. Because when you look back 20 years, so if you're about 20 or whatever, it doesn't matter what age you are, because there is hope for you, even if you're old. And I'll get to that story now in a second. There's an old man gave me amazing inspiration with this. And so all hope isn't lost if you listen to me till the end. When I look back to when I was 20, if someone had met me, like if you had it, if I go back and meet myself when I'm 20, and I said to myself, how good do you think you'll be in 20 years' time? If you stick at this instrument now and you know what, like you do your practice and you enjoy it and you learn and you'll get lots of experiences in life and traveling and with your instrument, and if you know, how good do you think you'll be in 20 years' time? And I would say my answer to myself would have been, well, like fairly good, like pretty good. You know what, like it's like if you handed somebody a gift, a present, and you said to them, here, listen, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you 20 years, 20 years worth of practice, 20 years worth of instruments, 20 years worth of experience. Here's 20 years, right? So you've got 20 years to get this right. Or 20 years, you know, I want you to show me something in 20 years' time. You have 20 years to do this. Do you think that'll be enough time for you? Most of us would jump at that opportunity and go, yeah, like fucking hell, like yeah, in 20 years' time I'll be brilliant at this. If I stuck to this for 20 years, I will be brilliant by the time I'm 40. And that's the bit that I'm regretting now, and it's all my fault. I am nowhere at all near where I should be, or I hoped to be, or I expected to be in 20 years. In fact, I haven't progressed very much at all in the 20 years. I'm still embarrassing to say, you know the way you have your signature tunes, like the ones that you're kind of really good at and you're sort of really proud of and you're full confident with, that you know you really nail these tunes each time and they generally impress the crowd or whatever that hasn't heard them before. I'm still doing the same collection of tunes now that I'm over 40 as I did back then when I was 20. And I mean, I'm sorry, but that's embarrassing. I haven't really progressed much at all. And as I say, it is my own fault. Like, you know, so the next question is, well, why not? Like, what happened in the meantime? What did you do? Like, why? And the whole thing is like, it's what I didn't do. I never really gave too much time into practice, actually. I've wasted the last 20 years musically. And it is my fault. Like, and if you're listening to this now, just please don't do this. Don't just be real relaxed and lackadaisy about it and easygoing and not caring. Because that's grand, that's fine at the time. But as the years roll on, you actually start to get a bit more hopeless in yourself then as a musician, because you're looking at yourself and you're going, I haven't improved very much in the last 2 years, in the last 3 years, in the last 5 years. When you get to 10 years, you get really fucking annoyed with yourself and say, yeah, in 10 years I haven't really done much. And now, I'm after reaching a 20-year point of not doing much, like it's so very disappointing, and almost I'm not just saying this to you. It's like I've reached points where I've just decided to give up. Like I have actually. I just kind of what's the fucking point of all this? I'm 20 years of this, and look at how good I am, or look at how bad I am. But no, that's because it's my own. Because I didn't put the effort in. I just didn't put the effort in. I barely ever practiced. And like there's different times. There's like you go through different stages in your life where sometimes you're playing a lot because it's to do with the people who's around you. Like I was in a small band. We played folk music and like Irish ballads. Kind of a folk group, like, and yeah, at the time, like my repertoire increased, mostly of songs, very few tunes, and I played bowron as well mostly. So I was mostly singing and playing the bowron. So if you ask me to get involved in an Irish session and sing a few songs, I can sing them no problem. Like I have a fairly good repertoire of songs, and I can tap along to a bowron no problem. But if you ask me to play some tunes, I would not be quite so good. I'd be at a loss. And in fact, I'd avoid playing tunes with other musicians, like, because I never really was a session musician anyway, and I never really kind of wanted to be either. I thought I did at the start, but I just thought it was too kind of competitive or whatever, so I was always kind of trying to find my own niche and just do my own thing and play alone a lot, like, or just maybe along with an accompaniment of a guitar player or a bowron player or the drummer or something. And pipes kind of lend themselves to that anyway, especially the big bagpipes. Like you can't really play them indoors anyway in a pub scene. Play them for about 10 minutes and that's enough for everyone. So I think my whole point of what I'm saying to you is that, like, at various stages of your life you put more effort into something. So initially, when I was learning the pipes, from the age I was 15 till the age I was 20, I was really, really trying to learn uilleann pipes. And so I gathered a few tunes together. Not great, but not bad. By the time I picked up the big Scottish Highland bagpipes when I was 20, I put a good effort into them, mainly like learning all the main ones, like marches and stuff like that, Irish marches and Scottish marches. And I was doing okay with that till I got to about 25. And then I didn't really play. The band I was in kind of broke up, different reasons, lives and girlfriends, and like the different members of the band, their lives were heading in different directions, like jobs, girlfriends, boyfriends, marriage, whatever. And you grow up a bit and you kind of grow apart from some friends, and so the band kind of fizzled out, and I haven't played in years. But even that scene was sort of pissing me off a bit, and it still does. Like I find, now I'm not going to go on about this for too long because I want to make a whole other video about this, and this will probably be a rant of a video. But I just think that in the Irish sort of, now I don't mean like real sort of kind of folk music heads, or like sort of Irish session musicians that are like real into the traditional music scene and stuff like that. I mean just general Irish people overall, broadly in general, that might most likely aren't musicians, but like to have a sing along and a party in someone's house and someone sings a song, and it's like, so then they all start singing Irish songs. But what I'm finding for the last 20 years, 25 years I'm looking back at, is that like it's the same fucking 20 songs that's sung in Irish homes, at parties or in pubs or on the way home from the pub or the football match or wherever you're at. They're the same 20 songs that are sung the whole fucking time. And most of them, which I think is rather unfortunate, are always like kind of like rebel songs and ballads. And I say that's unfortunate because there's a whole beautiful compass and range of wonderful Irish, not just Irish, like Scottish, English folk songs that aren't about going into battle, or aren't about someone being executed, or aren't about like some atrocity. It's just lovely songs, like that just don't get sung. So I kind of got fed up with all of that. I got like, and I'm even finding with some, even when I was saying about session musicians as well, like you kind of, the places that you'd go to listen to session music, they're often kind of stuck in that same rut where there's a sort of a repertoire of maybe 20 to like, I don't know, 40 tunes maybe. And the same tunes are like rehashed and recycled the whole time. So these are sort of habits that you kind of find yourself getting into. And I suppose with me, I just got sort of pissed off with it all. Like I got, especially though the songs end of things. Like I'll give you just about 4 or 5 songs, and then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So, right, you go back to someone's house, everyone's having a few cans. It doesn't really matter what age group they are. Could be a party, and invariably it's like, oh, go and sings a song, or someone gives a song, right? So that's all these come out like Willie McBride, you know, like the Greenfields of France, right? Someone always has to do that. Someone always has to do like the Fields of Athenry, like for fuck's sake. Like, you know, or then the same sort of few songs off the Dubliners and the Wolf Tones, like Dublin City and the Rare Old Times. Like even fucking Molly Malone. Like it's not just tourists that do Molly Malone. It's like nobody else knows anything else. So they, yeah, give us Molly Malone. Then there'll be a few like rebel songs about the IRA. Probably from like maybe Sean South from Gary Owen or something, and you know, maybe a 1916 song. The Foggy Jew's been like really popular, especially since RTE ran this thing years ago, like Ireland's most popular song, and I fucking knew straight away. I thought they were going to say the Fields of Athenry, but again, it was the same handful of songs that's been done to death. Yeah, or, you know, so unfortunately, it's the same handful of artists who, don't get me wrong, it was great to hear it like at the time, like, you know, but there was so much other music out there at the time that aren't songs that aren't getting sung at home, at sessions, at drinking parties, whatever. It's always either the Wolf Tones, the Dubliners, and maybe a bit of Christy Moore, and like that's it. Like you very rarely hear something from, say, the Clancys or Planksty or, you know, songs in Irish maybe like Clannad or something, and you know the older like Clannad the Hain and Clannad the Dow, the first 2 albums like are mostly songs and that. And okay, not everyone speaks Irish, but you know there were so many other like great groups, you know, that didn't, you know, you had like, you know, sort of maybe like Paddy Riley or, you know, the Strawberry Beds, songs like that. But these are all the same. It's always the same feckin' group of songs that's sung, and you just get fed up with them. So I know all of those songs. I'm not going to be like big headed about it. I know every word of all of those fucking 20 same songs that get sung. And like the same example, like if you're a tourist in Dublin, you're going through Temple Bar and someone's putting on like an Irish night in one of the pubs, you're gonna find the same playlist of like the same 20 songs. Like it might as well just be a fucking CD that you're listening to. Cause so anyway, I think I got pissed off with all of that. And it still pisses me off to this day that unfortunately, like when you are back at someone's house, and I've experienced this fairly recently, I'd go to sing a song and someone would go, alright, someone who would know me, it'd say, look, will you just sing one that everyone knows? And like, we're all trying to have a sing song together. We're trying to get everyone singing in and everyone singing in a chorus. So don't be doing all those obscure ones. Now it'd be said to me in a jesty way, in a sort of a funny way, like with a half a laugh. because they know that I'd do something that's obscure. But that's, and I understand it. Don't get me wrong. It's like, yeah, like everyone wants to have a collective kind of sing along with songs that everyone knows. But I'm sorry to say, I just get fed up with all those same old songs. And I love when someone sings a different song that like I've never heard before, or that maybe I only heard it once or twice, or I only know half of it or something. I love that. You know, what someone else brings to it. So I think that was part of my problem. Like, you know, I'm sort of waffling on a little bit, but I think I just kind of got disillusioned with everything. I got kind of fed up with the same genre, the same songs, the same tunes, the same marches. Even like they'd be like, when you're starting off, like they sound like the best of, like, say, bagpipe, you know, Irish bagpipe sort of marching tunes like the Dawning of the Day and the Minstrel Boy and Let Erin Remember and all them ones, and Scottish ones, the Green Hills and the Battles O'er and them, and don't get me wrong, like they're great for marching to, and they people kind of do general like if one more person asks me to play like Scotland the Brave, you know, um, you just feel like fuck's sake. But I think that's what it was with me. I just got fed up. I just got fed up with all the same old stuff, and then I'd learned all that stuff. And then I got so fed up with playing it and so fed up with hearing it that I didn't really want to hear it or play it anymore. And as I say, the music group that I was with at the time, the band just sort of split up and we went our separate ways. And we meet now and again at occasions, and it's nice to just kind of maybe do a little bit of that stuff for old time's sake. But anyway, I just want you to, for whatever reason, and maybe that's the reason that might happen to you as well, you might just get fed up of what you're doing. And I think what was wrong with me was that as well. Like, so I didn't practice then. I wasn't sort of being inspired anymore. I wasn't, I'd now kind of real sense of direction. And I kind of felt that, like, what is the point of me learning these other kinds of songs and these other sorts of tunes if, like, nobody else knows them and nobody else wants to hear them? And that's a real defeatist attitude, and I sort of adopted it for years, I suppose. And I wouldn't take my pipes out for months on end. Maybe even a whole year might go by when, I'd only ever take them out, like, this is the truth, like, when someone would die. When I was still living at home in Ballybrack, they used to call me, like, the piper of death up in the pub. It kind of caught on a little bit, because I'd get out the pipes and it'd been months or a year maybe before I'd be tuning them out in the back garden, or I'd be walking through like the nearest like open space trying to get them in tune or get them right, like, for the funeral. So they knew, all my neighbours knew that, like, someone was dead. And I remember one day I walked up into the pub, like, and someone goes, here's the piper of death, like, as a joke, like, who's dead? And it kind of stood with me though, because I went, well, that's what they know me for now. And you only ever take these out when someone's dead. Or maybe right for the wedding, if I was going to get paid for the wedding, when I started to eventually advertise for weddings. But, so, there was like years upon years that I just like let it all slide. I just wasn't bothered. I wasn't really bothered learning new songs, and I wasn't bothered learning new tunes, and I was just got fed up with the whole thing, and I got very disillusioned with the whole Irish music scene and everything, and I just got fed up with all the same old. So, that, and then, as I say, other commitments, like I got engaged and I got married and I was buying a house, but they're all excuses. Like, I've no children, other people have children, and obviously children take up an awful lot of your time, spare time and effort and energy and that. But I've no excuse. And I've got other musician friends that have had families and yet they're still playing, So, if there's any goodness that can be taken out of this, and in fact it's depressing, like I did say I hope this isn't going to sound too miserable, but I was getting sort of down on myself with all this like, waste of talent and that God gave me, and I'm not doing nothing with it, and So that's why I think what really happened when I was sort of around the 40 mark, I just kind of went, you know what, like you're not half as good, or you're not even a quarter as good as you thought you'd be in 20 years' time. But that was it. I'd no sort of focus. I'd no real goals then. I'd nothing to kind of work towards or work for. But look, here's where it changes, and here's where I hope, if you're still listening to this, here's where I hope that like you might take a bit of my advice. Um, One of the most inspiring people that I ever met. Don't know his name. I don't even remember the name of the tune, but I remember the details of it. There was a mass on down in Cultus, Keltardy, Ireland, in Monkstown. That's the headquarters of Cultus, like the Irish Music Organisation, the headquarters for the world. And that's where I began my music, first of all on the Bowron. And then when I eventually took up the pipes, I got my lessons down there for my first sort of 5 years. And there was a mass for some occasion. I don't know, was it Easter or Christmas or something, but there was a mass on and there was music throughout the mass, and it was beautiful music. But I remember one tune particularly was played on the flute, and I say I remember it particularly. I don't remember it now. Like I don't even remember the name of it, but I remember at that time, at that right moment in that time at that mass, this tune like really hit me, and I just thought it was a beautiful air. I thought it was really really nice and really really well played, and I wanted to find out like what it was called. Like I'd never heard it before and wanted to find out what it was called. So after the mass was over, I met a man, the man that played the flute, and he was about 80 years of age. And I got talking to him, and anyway, eventually I got to the question, you know, what's the name of the tune? And he told me, and I really regret now that I don't, like, that just shows you, like, I forgot it since, like, but that's not the point. The point of it is, he said, I says, God, like, I says, like, you played that really well, you know what I mean? That sounded wonderful. Like, thank you. What was it called? Whatever. He told me what it was called. And I says, God, I says, you played that so well. I says, you must be at it years. Like, to me, he was like, you know, really top sort of professional kind of, you know, he's an old man. He's at this all his life. He nailed that tune. He played it really well. I says, you must be at this for years. And he says, no. He says, well, all told, he says, I'm at this about 10 years. He says, I started when I was 70. And I just went, no way. Like I always was of the opinion that the older you got, like, the harder it was for you to learn, and you're slower at everything, including remembering things and music and tunes. But no, and there's loads of research to back this up. Like, I'm not going to bore all you with all the details. There's something different about music. It's something different in the brain about music, that it's one of the few things actually that you can carry on till your dying day and still be bright. Now, not maybe as bright as a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old, but, you know, it might diminish slightly, but that's just it, slightly. It's not like other things in life, like where sports, someone who's into sports, or someone who's into other things, like where your body and your mind starts to diminish. Music is different. In fact, when you look at music therapy, music brings people back to life again. Music brings people back to their youth. You know, you see those poor people like with like senile dementia and Alzheimer's or Parkinson's and all these terrible degenerative like mental diseases, and when they listen to music that they used to listen to in their youth, they light up again and they're back to where they used to be, and they're not sad and moping, and they can remember the words of all the songs that they used to sing along to. Like, just their brain just comes back. So music like sparks up the brain in ways that other things don't. So it's never ever too late. That man was 70 when he picked up the flute. He was then 80, so he was at it 10 years, and I just thought he was amazing. I thought he was at it all his life. So he's what inspired me to carry on, and I've made a conscious decision when I turned 40. As I said, I'm 42 now, so it's about 2 years. And it wasn't just on my 40th birthday. I was kind of building toward, like, I was thinking about this anyway. But I've made like a definite and conscious decision to actually, no, I'm not going to do the same thing as I did for the last 20 years. I'm not going to waste the next fucking 20 years. So I'm 40 now, right? When I'm 60 in 20 years' time, I want to look back and I want to say, yeah, do you know what? I'm actually really proud of yourself now. You're 60 now. And 60 isn't all that old age now. I know some people who are 60 and they might as well be 40. They don't look their age and they're full of energy and everything else. And it doesn't matter. But it's like, I, when I'm 60, I want to be able to be an accomplished musician with 20 years of like good, hard, practical piping and experience, dedicated 20 years behind me, that I could comfortably go anywhere in Ireland and Scotland and take out my pipes and sit there and play them and enjoy it and have other people enjoy it and not be worried about, oh, what if I make a mistake, or oh, I only keep playing the same 10 or 20 tunes the whole time and songs or whatever. So that's my long term goal. Like my long term goal is I'm giving myself back this 20 years now. I'm not gonna let the same thing happen that I did, waste it and let it go and get disheartened and disillusioned. I'm gonna think of other ways to inspire me and other things to keep me going. So if you're still listening to this, I'm coming to the end of it now. Don't look into the void of the next 20 years and go, like, either two ways of looking at it. Like, one way I actually looked at it in a really daunting way, because some fucker told me, and I'm really raging that he told me, and I don't even know whether to tell you this or not, but I have to tell you now, I'm after mentioning it. Someone told me when I was taking up the uilleann pipe that it's going to take you 21 years to learn these. And straight away, my stomach just turned and went, what the fuck? What, 21 years? Like, when you're 15 and someone says 21 years to you, like, that, yeah, I was told, yeah, well, I've heard this different ways, so I could mix it up a bit, and I've heard it in Ireland and in Scotland in different ways. So, 7 years of listening, 7 years of learning, 7 years of playing. Then I've heard another one, 7 years of tuning. No, sorry, 7 years of listening. You have to listen. Yeah, 7 years of listening, 7 years of tuning, 7 years of playing. And then the best one I've heard of all. So like it's like 4 sevens is what, like 28 years. It's like 7 years of listening, 7 years of tuning, 7 years of practicing, and 7 years of playing. And I'm laughing at it now because I'm just imagining my face when I was 15 when this person told me this. Like, I was so pissed off. I was going, for fuck's sake, like 21 years. So, But now it's been over 21 years. It's gone past that. It's like 25 years. And as I say, that's why I'm disappointed with myself, because that 21 years has come and gone. And I haven't done all those things. Now, yes, 7 years of listening, yes. Right, I've done that. And I would call maybe me last 21 years 7 years of maybe tuning or practice. But this 7 years, and I'm not joking, I set myself this 2 years ago when I turned 40. I said, you've got 7 years now. Right, you've got 7 years to do something definite with your piping. So I'm 2 years into that 7 years now. I started going back to music seriously about 2 years ago, with practice. And I'm going to do another video about how I practice and what I practice and some things that inspire me. But broadly, overall, basically, I'm learning now. And this isn't much, right? I'm breaking it down into small little things. I'm learning a new song plus a new tune a month. So I have a whole month to learn off a song and a tune. And at first, I didn't even do the two. I just done one or the other. Right, you have a whole month to learn this tune. Or you have a whole month to learn this song. And what I would do would be, I'd put it into my MP3 player or whatever you do if you've got a phone. And I'd listen to it while I'm driving into work. Listen to it in work if I got a chance. Listen to it driving home. Then take out your whistle, or I've got a fucking amazing practice chanter now that's silent. It's electric. I've done a whole video about that if you want to watch that. But basically, I gave myself like one tune or one song a month, and I found that I was actually being too easy on myself. I had the thing off in about 2 weeks. So then I said, right, well, actually, you're able for a little bit more. So I gave myself a bit more. So now it's down, yeah. So now I do a tune and a month, a tune and a song each month. And I start, around the first day of the new month. And my aim by the end of the month is that I'll be able to play this and sing it. Not perfectly, you're always going to make mistakes, but that's where I am with it now. And I've done it, and I've stuck to it. And in fact, I've done a little bit extra. So it's been 2 years now. And yeah, I have 24 songs and tunes, songs or tunes, that I wouldn't have had 2 years ago. So my repertoire has almost doubled in just 2 years. Like, just a song a month, a tune a month, 12 months. There's 12 new songs or 12 new tunes that you didn't have last year. And my learning I haven't done that since I was 20. As I told you, like, from the time I was about 17 till I was about 25, 27, over that sort of 10-year period, that was when I was doing all my learning between tunes and songs. And yeah, I got fed up with them because they're the same as I went on about earlier. They're all the same songs that everyone knows and sings in things in Ireland, and then that's why I got fed up and bored with it. But now I've decided that, like, right, I'm just gonna admit it, like, that person that said to me, like, will you stop singing obscure songs? That's me brother, right? I love me brother. He's my best friend. I get on brilliant with him. He can say something like that to me, but he's wrong. He's wrong, because people love to hear something new and something fresh, and that's how all these songs got popular in the first place. Like, those songs, like in the 1960s, when you had like the folk music revival on, and not just in Irish folk or Scottish, English folk, like in America. So I'm just walking across a river bridge here, so I might just hear the water for a second. Now, an American folk revival took place as well, like in the, sort of in the 60s, mid to late 60s, and certainly into the early 70s. All these groups came about, and these singers, and they brought all these songs either back to life, songs that hadn't been heard maybe for a century or more, or else they come up with their new songs and new versions of older things, or just stuff that was like brand new that nobody heard before. And that's why it was so popular. People loved it. Like, especially, like, I'm talking about like the Irish folk scene and ballad scene that happened in the late 60s, sort of mid to late 60s. Like, people just could not get enough of it. Like, I've watched loads of documentaries. I don't remember the 60s, but my parents would have, and they lived through it, and I've asked them, and they've said the same thing. Like, Irish music wasn't all that popular, really, and like in the 50s and into the 60s and all of that, like, it wasn't like there wasn't a big craze for it, like you couldn't kind of walk around and sort of, especially in Dublin, like, take your instrument into any pub and you're welcome, and there's points put up on the table in front of you, or people were really proud of you because you played a fiddle or a flute or something, or a whistle, even like that. It wasn't so popular. Now, I'm not saying that never happened. Of course there were places that loved the bit of music, there always were, but I'm talking about overall as a whole. And then when these like groundbreaking bands started to come along, as I say, like, like the Clancy's for one, for definite, like the Fury Brothers, the Wolf Tones, the Dubliners, the Dublin City Ramblers. Then in Scotland, or then in Ireland, like, as well, Ireland's Planksty, the Botty Band, Clannad. These are obviously all my favourite groups, but these were the real, standard bearers in, like, in their time. These are the ones that broke out. And then in Scotland, like you had two great bands in Scotland that never get played much anymore. And if ever you get the chance, YouTube them. The Whistle Binkies and the Tannahill Weavers. But I don't know who came first. I think the Whistle Binkies could have been before the Tannahill Weavers. But again, it's that folk sound of like fiddles and pipes and folk songs that are centuries old, kind of brought back again. And people in the 60s and into the 70s and all that, they just couldn't get enough of it. The pubs are packed out. The clubs, the folk clubs were like packed, and they ended up having to be like, ticket events, and the tickets used to get sold out, and then they turned into concerts, and then these bands became famous. Like, the Fury Brothers travelled the world with their music. From fairly like normal beginnings, like same with the likes of the Dubliners and the Chieftains and that, and all these are pioneers, and now it's all popular and we're all kind of familiar with it. Like, by the time of the initial kind of sort of excitement sort of was over, but like when the 70s were over, and in the 80s it was sort of settling down. But what was happening was then my generation were being brought up in the 80s with this fresh, like, our parents heard it all in the late 60s and through the 70s, and then they wanted us to be musicians, or they encouraged us to take up music, and we'd be listening to whatever music they were listening to. So it brought on my generation then. Some of us got sent to music lessons, and we were encouraged to pick up, as I say, instruments, whether they were bowrons or whistles or, a flute or something like that, or a fiddle, and our parents encouraged us to do it. And now we're in our 40s, we're in our 40s now, and most of my friends have kids, and they're trying to encourage their kids with it. So you see, my brother was wrong. People do like to hear the obscure things. People do like to hear the one that like nobody sings, or the song that hasn't been sung in 200 years because it has a lovely air to it. Okay, they may not sit through a whole night of that, but there are people that will. But for general sake, even if you brought like 3 or 4 songs into a session that nobody else heard, or a couple of tunes that nobody else heard, it will be accepted and it will be appreciated. It will be, because it's different from everything else. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the video now. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a couple of things, but the first is I'm working my way back to the uilleann pipes, by stages, like by degrees. So like I've come, I'm gonna go full circle. Like I've come from the uilleann pipes originally to the Scottish Highland bagpipes. Now then I started playing like mouth blown Scottish small pipes. Now I'm on bellows blown Scottish small pipes. Well, it's a combination of like it's a small pipe chanter and it's a lowland pipe drones or border pipe drones. And this year in the mix, I'm going to have a kind of a similar kind of a quasi set of like it's a lowland drones, a small pipe chanter, bellows blown with a regulator. That they're almost ready. So as you can see, I'm moving back towards uilleann pipes. I'm also having a set of what's called pastoral pipes or pastoral pipes. We've done a few videos about pastoral pipes. Really, really interesting instrument, which is kind of halfway between sort of lowland pipes and small pipes, border pipes, to the modern day Irish uilleann pipe. Like historically, it's on the evolutionary kind of table of pipes, if you want to put it like that. It's kind of like, there's like Homo erectus, then there's the Neanderthal, and then there's like Homo sapien. So it's kind of, I'm working my way back through the instruments themselves towards uilleann pipes. And also, as I said to you, look, I'm learning my repertoire is expanding, so I'm learning a new song and a new tune every month. And my goal, like my aim or my vision, that where I want to be, As I said, I started this 2 years ago, so I've got 5 years left, and that's me seven. That's the 7 years then, and I know it won't stop after that. But I envision myself sitting in a pub in Scotland. It's called the Tam O'Shanter. It's in Ayr. It's where Rabbi Bourne used to drink. It still has a thatched roof, and I'm going to put on a night of songs and tunes from the 1700s on a set of pipes that would have been played, or very close to what would have been played at that time, and singing songs and tunes from those times. And not just that, like, that's my kind of pinnacle aim, but I intend to be able to do that anywhere on these two islands. So I want to travel all around Ireland and all around Britain doing that, and being comfortable in my own skin, and being confident and proud of myself and assured of myself that I can put on a show, songs and tunes from the 1700s on a style of pipes that was played in the 1700s. And that, I can be confident in my repertoire, I can be confident in my skill and in my technique. That's what I'm driving towards. But look, that's me, that's my vision of myself. As I said, I don't think I was ever supposed to be a session musician. I always kind of felt more comfortable on my own. But, your goals and your aims might be a bit different. But my one piece of advice to you, my main point of all this video, if you're still here, thanks for listening. Don't do what I did. Don't waste the next 20 years doing either very little and then getting disheartened and then putting your pipes down and thinking, no, I'm not able for this. Or you just get stuck in a rut and you get bored of doing the same thing again and again, the same tunes, the same songs, and then you get disheartened that way. Or you might even be real dismayed with your own progress and just think, no, I'm not making any ground, or I don't know where I'm going with this, or I'm no good. Or, sometimes there isn't even good enough reasons. You just one day realise that your pipes have been under the bed or under the stairs for weeks and months at a time. Don't do that. Don't waste. Don't look back and say, fucking, I'm after wasting the last, never mind 20 years, the last 5 years, 10 years, 7 years. So, my basic tip to you though is to have an aim in mind, have a goal in mind. What does success as a piper mean to you? If you could meet that, fairy godmother, or that leprechaun that gives you the wish, do you know what I mean? Sorry for using a cliche, but it's kind of funny. But if you meet that magical person that says, right, in 5 years time, in 7 years time, in 10 years time, where do you see yourself as a piper? What will you be doing? You have to, what kind of a piper are you? How do you see yourself? You know what I mean? Are you going to be in a pipe band, a marching band? Are you going to be doing weddings and funerals? Are you happy enough just to be out playing on your own? Are you going to play small pipes, big pipes? Are you an uilleann piper? Are you going to be a session musician? Have an idea of where you want to be and just drive towards that, and break it down into smaller steps. That's the vision, that's the aim, is at the end of the longer journey. But have goals as stepping stones along the way to help you get there. Keep yourself interested and keep yourself motivated, and don't be too hard on yourself. And don't do what I did. Don't let 20 years slip past and you just wasted the last 20 years doing little or nothing but moan and complain about. So do something, take those steps, have an aim, have a goal, and try and work towards it. Take your time and do it at your own pace and enjoy it. I'm going to do another video about how I practice next, because I've really come on in leaps and bounds. I have, in the last 2 years, my methods of practice have improved, and in the last 2 years, I've gotten back to where I used to be 20 years ago with all that enthusiasm and making progress again. Like I told you, I've got at least 24, I've actually got a little bit more, but I've about 25 songs and tunes that I didn't have 2 years ago, that I can play fairly well, proficiently well, that I feel happy enough sitting down in front of a crowd and doing. I mean, that's a whole night's worth of, like, that's a whole hour or two's worth of playing and practice for an audience, and I've only done it 2 years ago. And as I said, I set myself a 7 year goal. So, and I've come on an awful lot in the last 2 years. So I'm going to do a special video about what has helped me to practice, what has helped me to come on, and what has helped to inspire me. But look, anyway, I hope you get the overall impression of this. I hope you learned a little bit about what can kind of happen to you, like, and how the years just slip by. In a strange way, it's a little bit like, I don't mean to use a cliche again, but imagine that's sort of like a metaphor, I suppose, for the rest of your life. Like, what are you going to be like on your last day of living on earth? Like, and if you believe in a heaven or an afterlife, and if you do believe that, if you're a Christian, we'll say, like, I'm a Christian, and we believe in a judgment, and we believe, you have to account, and maybe Saint Peter and the Golden Gates and all. I don't mean for it to sound something out of The Simpsons, but deep down, I'm not trying to make light of this. Like, how can you account for yourself, for your life? Like, when you look back, like, are you going to say, yeah, you know what, I'm 100% fully happy there with what I did? I think very few of us will do that. And instead, let's just hope that the rest of our lives aren't going to be marked with regret, like looking back, shoulda, woulda, coulda, like, let's, don't say, well, look at, you were given 20 years, what did you do with them? You were given all these talents and skills, and you were given all these people around you. How did you behave towards them? What did you do with all those talents and skills? And when you look back on the rest on your life that has gone past, can you give a good, do you think you could give a good account of yourself, or are you happy with parts of it? And maybe you are happy with parts of it, and there's parts of it lacking, there's parts of it missing. So, if you're still alive and you're actually listening to this, you have a chance to make a change and to fill in those gaps that that would have been missing. Like, so I hope that so I know I'm after getting a little bit deep there, but anyway, hopefully you got something out of that video, and hopefully I've encouraged you to, maybe you've wasted an hour listening to me, but hopefully I've gained you 20 years worth of good practice and a good attitude in the future. And hopefully my videos help you, because actually they're helping me. This is like a form of therapy for me. Sometimes when you say things out loud, all the thoughts that's in your head, you end up with a clearer outlook on things and a better perspective. So that's about it. I'll wrap it up. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for listening, and I hope you really get into your practicing, and you'll find yourself making progress. And watch out for my video in the future about how I actually help myself to practice, and hopefully that'll encourage you too. But hopefully your mind's in the right place now, a better place for practicing and progress. Thanks for listening, and talk to you again.